Pays checkout is offered by your banks and credit unions. So when you shop online at participating merchants, your cards appear in one place. Pays. It checks out. Activation required. See pays.com to learn more. Terms and conditions apply.
Home, home. Just wanna go. Home, home. Back home. I've been gone for way too long. Home, home.
Welcome to Make Space, a home design show that empowers you to create spaces you're obsessed with. Tune in for conversations that dive deeper than pin-worthy rooms. Host Cara Newhart teases out the essentials of designing spaces that inspire happiness and serve your everyday life. Cara has been featured in House Beautiful, Apartment Therapy, NBC News, and Insider, and has collaborated with brands like Home Depot, Wayfair, World Market, and more. Here's your host, Cara Newhart.
It's Cara, and welcome back to Make Space. Today we're talking about tips for how to be your own designer and some strategies for DIYing your way to your dream space. I'm sitting down with Emily, who's an interior designer and TikTok sensation. As we talk all things design, she shares her design strategies, how she plans and creates incredible DIY projects, and her process for sharing decor online, building a community around it, and making design approachable for the everyday girl. I'm so excited for you to hear from Emily. She's incredibly talented, and she has some great tips to help you transform your space.
Welcome back, everyone, to Make Space. Today, I have Emily, who is an incredible designer, and you may have seen her on TikTok. We're diving into all things design, and I'm so excited to talk to her about how to make changes in your spaces. So welcome, Emily.
Hi.
Hi.
It's fun to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, of course. So I just want to hear first how you got into interior design. I know you went to school for it, but can you just walk me through like how you found your way into it?
Yeah, so I actually don't have the most beautiful story ever, but I was actually going to go to college for early education because I really loved working with kids. And I was accepted into college, like that was the program that I was in. And then the summer before I went to college, I kind of had like a quarter life crisis. And I was like, I don't want to teach. I don't want to be in front of people like that. So I was looking at other majors that my school already had. And I saw the interior architecture major. And so I like did a whole deep dive looking into it. And I realized that it was perfect for me because it had a lot of math involved. It had a lot of like just solid stuff like that. But there was also that artistic side of it that I could explore. And I always really loved art. I grew up a dancer and all that kind of stuff. So I just decided to give it a shot, and it ended up working really nicely.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. It's just like, oh, I'll just switch. And then it just turned out to be like probably even more amazing than you thought, which is so cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So you are what some would call a TikTok sensation. You share home design and DIY content. And for everyone that doesn't have TikTok, first of all, you're missing out. But second of all, you have these like really quick videos just breaking down spaces, transformations you're doing, and DIY projects. But I'd love to hear about like what the journey of growing your platform has been like and like finding your voice. Did you start it for fun, or did you start TikTok like knowing what you were going to do?
No, absolutely not. I kind of had to figure out my speed really quickly. So my platform grew overnight, basically, because I was renovating my parents' home. And I never came at it. I didn't even know that anyone could have like a job in social media, if I'm completely honest. I thought it was like the Kardashians and that's it. So when I first started TikTok, it was honestly just because I was so bored. College had just ended for me abruptly. I didn't have a graduation or anything like that. I had lost my job too because my job was in Boston and I'm in New Hampshire. And so everything kind of just abruptly ended, and I was just sitting in my parents' house with nothing to do. So I kind of used TikTok as it was something that I had just been introduced to since I was bored all the time. And I thought it would be kind of like a accountability type thing to kind of keep me being creative and doing something when I had literally nothing else to do with my time. And it just kind of like after I posted the very first video, like just me being like, I'm going to renovate my parents' house, that's when everything started to take off and people just believed that it was going to be good because I said I was a designer, even though they
Yeah.
had seen nothing that I did yet. And so there was a lot of pressure there. But I think once the whole first renovation was over, I was like, okay, well, now I can stop posting or I can continue doing this. And so far, it seems really lucrative. It seems
Yeah.
very fun. And it was a great way to explore my creativity and everything. And so I just kind of kept going. I did a few DIY projects and tested the waters and see if people would even like it. And
Yeah.
then when they did, I was like, okay, so I'm just going to expand upon this, keep doing renovations, keep doing all of that stuff, and people seem to like it. So that's just kind of what I do. I don't really necessarily have a strategy. I mean, most of my content is the same just because that's what I
Right.
do and what I feel comfortable doing. But no, I don't really like have any strategies.
Uh-huh. You're just being you. I love that. Well, your projects and your content is so approachable. Like if you spend any amount of time in your comment section, you see so many people like getting so inspired to do things themselves for the first time. And that's what makes me so happy because you're really just sharing like, here's how you do it. You don't have to be a professional. You don't have to have ever tried before. Like I will help you. We can do it together. So that's just really,
Yeah.
really cool.
And for me, it's like really rewarding because my previous life path and everything, I was in
Uh-huh.
commercial design. So
Okay.
at the firm that I was with, I was working on like Fortune 500 companies. It wasn't a question of money or budget or anything like that. It was just making really cool spaces. And
Yeah.
so I have that under my belt, but I didn't grow up wealthy or anything like that.
Right.
So when I kind of combined those two things, I think I started having like all of these connections with other people out there who
Mm-hmm.
like really want creative spaces, but they just can't afford it or anything like that. And I get like so many messages every single day, and people just feel vulnerable enough with me to like share their scenarios and like
Yeah.
tell me like things that have happened in their life and how they want to improve their space. And sometimes it can be a little heavy because I can't help every single person who messages
Right.
me, but
Right.
it has helped me to like start opening up more on social media and like actually sharing about my life and like what's coming up with it and like kind of just being vulnerable in that way. So I feel like that's kind of like my audience has been opening me up and like starting to
Mm.
like get closer with them, which is really nice.
Right. It's so funny how they do that. Like sharing your work on social media, you think it's like, I'm showing you what to do, but then they teach you so much. And it's like you
Hmm.
get into parts of yourself you never thought you would and like start sharing pieces. And yeah, so that's a really cool journey. I totally know
Definitely.
kind of that feeling too. But I love your like authenticity. And I really love how you break down design into everyday spaces and really show people how these like high level design concepts, which now I'm hearing probably came from all your work on that corporate kind of lane, but you can actually implement like those really high level design ideas into your actual house and create
Hmm.
these like really special rooms that really work for your everyday life. So, can we talk about like your design process? Like, how do you approach creating a room?
Yeah, so I like my number one thing is that I don't believe in trends or um, considering things timeless. So
Yeah.
people that's what I always see in my comments is like, what is timeless? And I see these like controversial videos that people post on TikTok and YouTube that are like, is this trendy or timeless? Should you put this in your house? And like, that is the most frustrating thing for me.
Yeah.
I like in the corporate world when I was like doing public spaces, there that was not even a thing that was relevant and on
Uh-huh.
the table. It was
Right.
just whatever the client wanted for their brand and their space was what mattered. And so that's kind of what I've been taking into residential design is like
Mhm.
I want to really study the person that I'm designing for and like kind of like come up with their brand in my
Yeah.
head and like think about the functionality pieces of like what do they actually do in their space? Like yes, it's a living room, but are they eating in there? Are they doing their work in there? Like all these different things and like trying to compile functionality with like them personally. And like, I don't necessarily think like a white kitchen is someone's entire personality. Like, I
Right.
just think that I like to kind of look at it from that viewpoint of like, how can I transform this space that it completely reflects this person and their needs and also their values. And I think that's the most successful way to get that done, because then they won't feel like they need to change it all the time because their space is like completely made for them, if that makes any sense.
Yes, that totally makes sense. I feel like when people start designing from like an aesthetic, like this is modern, this is farmhouse, this is whatever all those labels are, it's like that's already prescribed of the things you're going to use and the elements and the way it sort of looks. And then there's a little room for personalization, but it's like when you start with the people, like you can you get to a design that like is just totally out of the box original because it's like for them. So yeah, I love that approach for sure. So how do you balance like the look of a room, aesthetics, and then the function to make sure like not only does it look good, but it actually like supports someone's life? I feel like that's a challenge I see a lot of people asking about. Like, how do I make sure that, you know, I'm recreating a dupe or a project and it's going to look good, but is it going to work? Like, is the paint going to be sticky or stuff like that?
I like to look at like the whole space as a whole instead of like the individual projects that will be in it. So when I'm talking with someone about their space, I'm like writing down everything that I think they need in there based off of like a functionality point as the get-go. That is obviously what comes first. And then I'm someone who loves like continuity of form and like making things modular and like making them have multiple purposes. So then I kind of like go into that lens and start looking on how I can make them also a piece that is their aesthetic or something that could fit in within their aesthetic but still meet their goals. And then like the pretty decorations and stuff usually come last for me. It's like the okay, well, I'm putting this here. I functionally want this space to be zoned out. So now I'm going to look into the aesthetic side. I'm like, oh, they would like arches. So I'm going to put an arch on the wall. Or, oh, they would really like a tall curtain or a cork board or something here. So then I'm going to add that into the functional part. It's usually that kind of step process for me.
Yeah. I like that a lot because I feel like when people are thinking about DIY design, it's like pin, 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 and $5 inspo. And then we like Frankenstein together a space from all these inspo images. And that's like totally backwards. Like you have to start with function and you, and then work towards that. So hearing that, I think, is a really good reminder that like start with you and start with function. And then you get to do all the fun stuff later.
Yeah, and odds are, like for in the lens of content creation, odds are that the person you're designing for is not the only person who needs that modular, really strange, not trending furniture piece.
Right.
So that's kind of the lens that I view it as, is like, I'm not really worried about this being the trending topic, because when people see it, it could become something that more people would be interested in, and then sharing that and like putting that in their own spaces. So it could be something, as opposed to like trying to see what other people are doing and creating that in another way.
Right. That's that's like the easy way out. Like your creativity starts with you. And once you learn that, it's like you opened all the possibilities instead of just creating what you already see. Although, I mean, I guess that's how you have to start. Like you kind of replicate things you see being done, and then eventually you find your own voice and creativity. But yeah, definitely more fun to go rogue and do it however you feel. So yeah, people on TikTok have many opinions, which I'm sure you know, and it's sometimes really fun, but sometimes it's really intense when people don't always love your work or agree with your content. How do you feel like all that feedback has either influenced your design style or just like the way you approach designing spaces?
I think it has impacted me in a few different ways. And I've had I have had no shortage of hate with my account, which is interesting because I don't feel that I am controversial in any way. But
Right.
I sometimes it is really good. Like sometimes the feedback that I get is something that actually helps me. Like one time I posted a video, and I bought candles to make them curly. And I had just gone on my phone and I searched up like tall candles near me, and the first thing that popped up was Hobby Lobby. So I bought candles from Hobby Lobby. They were like probably $5 total. But when I posted that on TikTok, I learned very quickly that Hobby Lobby is not good. And I did not
People
know
don't
that
like it.
was a thing before then, because I had never shopped at Hobby Lobby. I just went there for those specific candles.
Right.
And I had a lot of hate for that. I had a lot of people assuming who I was as a person, and it was very scary. I was like, no, this doesn't, like, I had absolutely no idea. I'm very sorry. Like, I had no idea. So in that kind of sense, it is very helpful, because now I know not to shop there anymore. And it's like, sometimes there's just things that you don't know, that having a big following on the internet, they will share that with you very quickly. And then you'll be able to make sure that the things you're doing are in line with your beliefs. From the other standpoint, also, though, there has been just like design commentary and stuff like that, which, to be honest, doesn't really affect me at all, because I am very secure in my abilities. I know that I have an education. I know what I'm doing. But I think sometimes when it does affect me more is when things start to get negative on a more personal route. So like, there's this one time I posted a video putting a dresser at the end of a bed, and it made sense completely. Like, that was where it should go, because there was no space on the walls, but people didn't like that idea. And the messages that I started to get were like, you don't deserve this, or blah, 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 this kind of stuff. Which were a little bit hurtful. But then there was also like other scenarios too, where it's like, obviously I get a lot of messages every single day, and I can't read or respond to all of them. I'm only one person, and I am working over full time for the career that I'm in. So sometimes I can't respond to people or open their messages. And so sometimes when I'm going through messages to try to find people to design for, people to talk to, and there's like this rabbit hole sometimes in the conversations where people are like, why haven't you responded to me? Why haven't you read this? Like, I thought you were here to help people, like that kind of thing. So those are kind of like when the internet hate starts to like take on my mental health. But I have learned a little bit just to kind of like step back. I'm a very hands-on person. So if someone messages me, I used to like be like, oh my gosh, right away and respond. But I've had to
come in the shower,
back.
but I'll get on right out and just reply your message.
I've had to take a step back and kind of like not open all of the messages and kind of see what the starter is. And that's just kind of how it has to be at this point. But it is, I definitely think it's a double-edged sword there. I think there's some positives and there's some negatives.
Yeah, I feel all of that. I know a lot of what that is like. But yeah, I love that it's like, you have to have, like, you open yourself up to accountability from all angles. And if you're willing to like grow and adapt and do it with grace, which I feel like you have done so well, then it just makes your platform better and your following more loyal. It's the people that get like grumpy and double down on things they shouldn't, that it like doesn't work out for them. But yeah, it's wild how much it like makes you grow as a person, as well as
definitely.
like, helping people.
We'll get back to the conversation after a quick word from our sponsor.
Do you ever feel like you have all the right information from the podcast, from YouTube, from social media on how to create the space of your dreams, but you just don't know how to apply those tips and those strategies to your specific space? It can be so challenging, but I finally have a way to help you out one-on-one. You can book a DIY coaching session with me or a design consultation. So if you want to tackle this space yourself, you just need a little guidance, and YouTube is becoming hard to navigate. I'll help you plan and tackle your home DIY project, including answering all your questions and helping you troubleshoot and pivot if you've started and you feel stuck. Or if what you need is more of the design strategy, you can book a design consultation. We'll meet on Zoom and talk strategies for your specific space. We can do a deep dive into one room, go over everything that needs to be fixed or changed in the space, and create a plan for you to make that happen. Or we can give your whole house some therapy and do a home walkthrough talking about how to create cohesiveness in your space and assessing your whole house at the same time. This is the perfect next step if you've been loving the podcast, you love the strategies, but you're not quite sure how to create a space you're obsessed with because you need hands-on personalized help. We got this. I am here for you. Just book a coaching session or a design consultation and we will get hands-on with your space. Just go to calendly.com/Cara Newhart or find the link in the show notes to book so we can sit down one-on-one and tackle your space.
And now back to the interview.
But yeah, that's cool. It's like never in history can we just like make a video on our pocket computer and millions of people get to watch it and tell us what they think. Like what an honor. Yeah, it's so funny. But yeah, I feel like you're the queen of working with limited budgets to make an impact. What are some of your favorite like DIY techniques for transforming a space? I know everyone is kind of like paint, but do you have any other tricks that you love?
That is a very good question.
Right? Have one.
Trying to think. Favorite, as in like to completely transform the space or just like a tip that I like when I'm making DIYs?
Yeah, I think just like if you don't have a lot of money, like maybe like what
yeah.
materials should you look at
What
or
material?
like
Okay.
design strategies.
So obviously paint, yes, is one. But I think the main thing that I always recommend to people when they ask me like how to quickly fix their space is definitely rearranging furniture is like the first thing. And I think that people will just rearrange their furniture based off of aesthetics. But like when I was in architecture, there's like this whole like step process of like creating all of these different adjacency matrices and like coming up with bubbles and like what things will actually function as when they're next to each other, if that makes any sense. So
Yes.
that's kind of where I start. And also the way that I was able to renovate my parents' house for basically no money at all, because at that time I was a broke college student. I had nothing. My parents were broke. Like none of us had money to fund that project. So people are asking me, that was definitely the biggest budget I've had. And the only way that I was able to do that project was by directly selling their furniture on like Facebook Marketplace, taking that money and then buying something new. So secondhand is definitely the way to go if you're in that kind of pinch. And I think it can be a drastic difference, but you don't end up spending any money at all because you have a couch, you sell it for not very much on Facebook Marketplace, but everything else is also not very much on Facebook Marketplace.
Right.
You can get a brand new couch that to you've never seen before. It's in your style and you like it. And then it costs like $20 and then you bring it in. And it's just like the best way for anyone who can't afford to do it another way, basically.
Yes. Yeah, it's almost like you get to just swap your stuff for new stuff that's like new to you.
And sometimes it can take a while, but I was able to do it all in a month. So people can push. You definitely can turn those notifications on.
Right. If you're there. Yeah. When I'm selling stuff, it's like if I wake up every morning and I'm like right there, like people come the next day. And if I forget about it, it'll take like 3 months to sell something. It just sits in my house. But yeah, if you're committed to the process, it's totally doable and you can have amazing results. But I guess it's like, if you don't have money, spend the time and you get something amazing. So yeah. Are there any like common mistakes you see people doing? Like, I guess my worst example is when people send me rooms and all the furniture is like up against a wall. It's like, and there's an empty dance floor situation happening in the middle. And it's like, okay, let's quit wall hugging and get things like off all the walls. But is there things you see kind of like many times where you're like, okay, lots of people seem to be having trouble with this?
I definitely think the wall hugging, I think, there's a lot of times that I've definitely seen things. I think I try really hard not to like voice that all the time, because I've had a lot of people who are just experimenting. Like, for example, I love painting shapes on the wall, and I've seen a lot of people recreate painting shapes on their wall, and sometimes the shape is just not necessarily something that works for their space. But I still love it, and I still will comment, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, this is the most beautiful thing ever, because I just think it's so fun that they're even trying and exploring with their space, and like trying something that they love and is kind of scary, because it's kind of scary to paint a random shape on your wall.
Right.
So I love that. I love experimentation. I think I definitely see a lot of things, especially on TikTok, from DIY accounts that I think shouldn't be put out there and shared with
Mhm.
a bunch of people. Um, I don't know how deep I want to go into that topic, but just like
There's many, many. Yeah.
from a value of the house standpoint, I've seen a lot of DIY accounts do a lot of damaging things to their houses.
Right.
But for the most part, I just kind of stay in my lane, and I just talk about what I know, and that is all that I share.
Yeah, you know what? I really like that because I think it's easy to critique, like, especially as someone that knows what you're doing. It is very easy to be like, you did that wrong. You shouldn't have done that. That's not good for this. Because you like know that. But what's harder is to take like the approach of putting yourself in their shoes and being like, look, I just want to inspire them to try. And if they're getting hands on, like you're going to make mistakes. But if I come in too early with criticism, it's like, you could squash their creativity and then they'd never have the confidence to try again. So it sounds like you value like that process more than critical feedback, which I think is really cool.
Yeah. And I think like for you and me, like it's a lot easier to change our spaces because we kind of enjoy it and we feel more comfortable in that avenue.
Yeah.
But I think just from experience with all of these people who I've talked to, it's like a big step for someone to even
Yeah.
change like the smallest part of their space.
Uh-huh.
So for me, if I see someone even just like change out one thing or something, I'm like, yeah,
You did it.
this is a positive step, because
Yeah.
it's not going to be perfect on the first try. Like it's not like if I was to try something completely new, I wouldn't be perfect when I did my first attempt, but at least I'm attempting.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah.
I like that a lot, actually. What do you feel like is the most challenging space you've designed?
Trying to think through all the projects I've done.
Right.
I think probably the most challenging would have been my parents, simply because it was the first one, and also no design inspiration on that front, and also
Uh-huh.
just like the money constraints. But I think like if I'm talking just like mentally, like the actual design itself, I'd probably say my own apartment, just because I really like designing for other people. Like when someone
Uh-huh.
tells me what their idea for a space is, and like, or like what they want their space to look like, for some reason it just pops into my brain right away, and I'm like, oh my
Yes.
gosh, yes, and I can do all of these amazing things and make them all excited. But when it
Yes.
comes to my own space, I'm a lot more critical about like myself, and I'm like, do I actually like that? Like I don't actually
Right.
know myself as much as I know other people. So when it
Uh-huh.
comes to my own space, it's like a lot of debating before I end up actually
Yes.
doing anything to it.
Uh-huh. Oh my gosh, that's so me too. A lot of like changing my mind a million times and like actually redoing things a million times because I can't make up my mind. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's funny. It's like easier to see so clearly like what works for other people versus you. It's yeah, that's a dilemma as a designer for
Yeah.
sure. So, is there anything like super exciting coming up for you? I saw you did like the really fun collaboration with Amazon Home, was it?
Yeah, I did. I was traveling for a while with them doing renovations. That was really fun. It was
Yeah.
something I've never expected to do, so being able to fly
Yeah.
to these different locations was crazy. I
Uh-huh.
think what's next on my plate is we have been trying to buy a house.
Yeah.
So that will be in my news very quickly,
Uh-huh.
coming up here shortly. But yeah, that is something that I've been very excited about, because, first of all, I never thought that I'd be buying a house at my age.
Right.
Um, but secondly, just I think it will really help, because being in an apartment and being a DIYer is just not,
So hard.
it's not very good. So if I ever want to DIY anything, I have to travel, I have to transport
Mm.
things. It's just not good. So having a space that I can actually create things in, and also just having a house, like that I can completely make customized and not work around apartment guidelines is an absolute dream. So that is something that I'm really excited to like share the process of from someone who has no idea what they're doing when it comes to buying their first house, because I'm new to this. So sharing that whole journey will be very fun.
Yeah, I feel like so many people need that, especially like women, because I feel like, yeah, it's just a very intimidating process if you haven't done it before. I know like our first house was a new build and there was so many things I had no idea about and was like caught off guard. Luckily it went smoothly, but it is, yeah, there's a lot to that. So that'd be a really cool process to share.
Definitely.
Okay, so where can everyone find you online? I feel like TikTok's probably the main place, but your other places too, like Instagram and
yeah, on TikTok and YouTube and I guess Snapchat now. And basically everywhere I'm Emily Rayna, and then Instagram I'm Emily Rayna Designs, because that's what was available. So
yeah, we get what we get. Well, perfect. I will link that in the show notes as well so everyone can find you. Well, thank you so much. This was so good. I am so excited to share this episode, and I'm so happy to have you on today. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, this is so fun.
Psst, if you're still here, that means we need to be friends. Hop over to Instagram and follow me at Never Skip Brunch if you want DIY projects and more design inspo. Or if you want to get connected for podcast-specific updates, hop over to Make Space Pod, and you can stay in the loop for when new episodes drop. See you on Instagram.
I'm on my way back home.
Thanks for listening. If this is your first time listening in, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay in the loop with the newest episodes. If you're a subscriber and you love the show, be sure to rate, review, or a screenshot and share your favorite episode on social.
You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you may not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.